welcome back to Sitting with Ashley. I'm Ashley. We're gonna hang out and talk for a minute about some shit. I'm wearing my caution cones, okay? Shit is serious. I've been on TikTok all day listening to people. Americans are really fucking dumb, first and foremost. Second of all, it's too late to do anything but fight back, quite frankly. That's Niall's tablet that you hear. Anyway, I think, there's so much conversation. I think, okay, first and foremost, the part about Americans, the thing that's really fucking annoying. Ooh, I forgot I have a drone. I should figure out how to use this thing. Anyway, the fact that Americans have watched what's happening in America right now, or the United States, happen to people overseas for over a year and been like, meh. Is really fucking annoying. And a lot of it has to do with just, you know, people not knowing about anything, right? Indoctrination, apathy, ignorance. But there's this American exceptionalism. Let's look that up, shall we? I'm drinking beer, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, Alicia Silverstone is so fucking hot. Jesus. Anyway, exceptionalism, American. Let's look this up. American exceptionalism is the belief that the United States is either distinctive, unique, or exemplary compared to other nations. Yup. Yup. So, American exceptionalism is a prominent feature of Mormonism. I live in a very Mormon town. Mormons believe that the North and South America is promised land that was settled by Lehi, and his fellow Israelites. You know, I have seen shit on that on Facebook. A lot of these folks around town talking about how awesome it is what Israel's doing. I'm annoyed. I guess that's it. I'm annoyed because I'm pretty sure I talked about this last collective call. I don't even care if anyone's watching. I'm so fucking annoyed with Americans. I mean, I always have been, you know, but like the fact that like, I don't know. It's interesting to see white women speaking up on brown folks, and white men as well. There's a lot of people coming on TikTok and making content about the allyship or solidarity or demanding, you know, using their privilege. So that's dope. But it's not everybody by any means. I guess the main thing is that like as these things happen, I think we should all have a little bit of empathy for the people who are being kidnapped, disappeared, incarcerated, trafficked, murdered. But like the system that exists has done such a good job of keeping people in their own little bubbles with the internet. You know? Like I'm interested in what's happening in the world, so I see it. Most people don't. And I think that's really an important thing we need to think about. And if they do see it and it makes them feel uncomfortable, remember we talked about cognitive dissonance. You know, people don't want to be uncomfortable. Americans don't want to be uncomfortable. I have a lot of hope from China because of what they said. They said, dude, we've been around for 5,000 years before America was a thing. We're not worried about that. We're going to be here another 5,000 years, right? I want to remind you that we are living through not only pathetic times, but prophetic times that were written by these motherfuckers. I need you to understand that. The Bible was written by men who were white and wanted to control the masses, the Romans, right? And I feel like through the generations, as empires have fallen, there's been migrations. We know this. We know that the Romans went other places in Europe, and other places in Europe came to the United States, and the United States was not white people. And there has been a continual genocide of Native folks, and continued enslavement of black folks. But a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't want to believe that, right? I remember learning these things when I was in my master's program. I remember how painful it is to realize that you've been lied to. And I also remember how it feels to know the truth and try to tell other white people the truth. That got me locked up, medicated, fucked up, ostracized, right? And that happens to a lot of people. A lot of people do try to speak, try to do the right thing, try to make people aware of what's going on. And they are, punished for it. So, I don't know. I feel like I just want to get on here because it's a lot. It's a lot listening to everyone's think piece about what's happening. But I think one of the most infuriating things is the American exceptionalism within this of like, what? I didn't think it could happen to me. But like we've been telling you since October 7th, right? And Palestinians have been experiencing that for 75 years. Darfur has been in genocide for at least 30 years, probably the 90s somewhere. I think one of the most important things to think about is like, what do we do with this information and how do we use it for our own collective liberation? And I'm going to tell you the thing I tell you all the time, right? Until it's your turn, you're going to organize locally and you're going to network globally. You're going to share information. You're going to educate yourself. And if you don't want to do that, then fuck you. You're a douche. You're part of the fucking problem. You're going to use your privilege. If you have privilege within this system, you're going to use it. You're going to use it to alleviate the stress of others who do not have the same privilege as you. You're going to use it to stand up for what's right. You're going to use it to fucking be loud. You're going to use it to fight back physically. Put your body on the line. Because again, you still have privilege. You're going to get reprimanded. This is global fascism. But at least your conscience is going to be clear. Our vessels, our bodies are only here for a limited time. It's like a limited time offer. Your soul is the one thing that you can't replace. So if you're going to let them take your soul, feed off of your soul, then you're no better than them. You're a fucking zombie, and that sucks. But if you're going to keep your soul intact, you're going to fight back. There's a lot of conversation right now on TikTok about not letting them take you to a second place, which means you've got the martyr spirit. It means you're going to go out fighting. It means that you've accepted your defeat. You've accepted your destiny. You've made peace with your fucking soul. You've made peace with your creator. And you know what you're going to go out fighting. I'm in that boat. I'm in that boat. I've always had the spirit of a martyr. I'm in that boat. I'm not excited about it. I'm not looking forward to it. But I've accepted it. And I'm not going to go out without a fight. I love fighting. I love it. I think you should get your self-defense in order. I don't think there's anything wrong with being creative about the means of self-defense. I think now that we understand how this is going to play out for us, we know what it's going to look like. It's going to look like people coming out of fucking nowhere because they have us on a list. They know our whereabouts. They know our routines. They've been watching for an extended period of time before this happened. We've all been identified as who we are. It's just a matter of time, you know? And I am a very strong manifester, and I'm not trying to manifest that, but I've got a couple targets on my back. So I've accepted my fate. But again, I'm gonna have some fun before that happens. So, don't lose hope. But understand that there are so many people within this America that are not only excited to be the fascist police or fascist, supremacists. I'm thinking so heavily about this community right now because I didn't realize that American exceptionalism was such an important part of Mormonism. That makes a lot of sense. I've seen a lot of... I actually just got back on Facebook too because I'm doing some programs. But anyway... Nobody's coming to save us. Not Jesus, not anybody. And I think it's very detrimental to have a presidency and then a 4-year planning and organizing break and then another presidency that's turned into a dictatorship. Or there's so much speculation, there's so much conversation. There's people talking about how Donald Trump is going to get killed and how he's just the fall guy for these other people and how everyone wants J.D. Vance to be in this position. And there's so much... I mean, Trump has said, like, dude, I'm sticking around for at least 8 years. So we're like, what, 80... Someone said we're like 87 days in. I think that humanity has taken several wrong turns here. And one of those was when we stopped caring about life. Not just human life. All life. Industrializing everything. You know? And that wasn't us. A lot of us have no part in that. But maybe we've rolled our eyes at the people who have tried to tell us. Maybe we've, made fun of someone who could see what was coming. I've experienced that a lot. I've experienced a lot of people laughing at me. A lot of people telling me I'm crazy. Bitch, who was right? I'll give you a second. It was me. I'm a seer, so I've had prophetic dreams. I think that, fortunately, I do believe that there's going to be some country that comes to the defense of the United States citizens. I've seen the warships off the coast of California in my prophetic dreams back in 2017. And I've mentioned this before, and I'm going to say it again, because I love being right and I love fighting. You can fuck off. But I also saw people getting bussed, getting picked up and rounded up and bussed. So that's already playing out. So I think it's only going to be a moment of time until we start to see the warships. Now there are a lot of U.S. military making what's the word? What's the word for this? I'm drinking, so I don't know the word for this. They're making these TikToks telling Americans not to worry, but they're not saying anything else. Reminder that the United States military does have an oath to uphold, but like I said a couple months ago when Trump was what was he doing? Something along the military, and I told you guys, well, that seems like what he's gonna want to do with that. Oh, it was the January 1st stuff. When they were starting to throw U.S. vets under the bus with those shootings and stuff, and like the Tesla fire in Vegas and the one in New Orleans. When that was happening, I remember I said, well, he's doing that to set it up so that he can change the high-ranking officials within the military. And once that happens, yeah, that's not a people's army anymore. So a lot of people, a lot of Americans are holding out hope that the U.S. military, all branches, will uphold their oath. And so anyway, there are a lot of service people getting on and, like I said, making TikToks that aren't really doing anything other than showing their face and saying, you know, something that sounds good. But that's part of the politics, that's part of the propaganda, that's part of the pacifying of the masses too, because once martial law is put in place, the military will be, well, and it doesn't even have to be the military, because, and that's another thing we've speculated about Civil War, right? With that movie Civil War, there's now another movie coming out about Iraq, and doing kind of what's the word for this? A time thing. They're traveling backwards to the Iraq War, 2006. And that's what that's going to do, is that's going to get the, military fanatics on board with what's going on in the Middle East, which is pushing us into a world war. I mean, we're not there yet, quite frankly. I mean, we are, and I did do that collective coffee a couple weeks ago about the World War III logistics. How the fuck did you come in? I swear to God, Daya can open doors. Daya, go back outside. Go back outside. Go back outside. Anyway, now is the time to, again, organize locally, network globally, look out for the people around you, know who is an op around you and know who isn't. And may the odds ever be in your favor. Have a good one, y'all.